Math!
Hey everybody, this is Mr. Regner, and this is the Aftermath. I'm here today to talk about math vocabulary, specifically our vocab terms for Unit 1, and hopefully I'll provide you with a few helpful ways to remember what those terms are. So our first term right here is algorithm. When I think about algorithm, I hear the word rhythm, and when I think about a rhythm, I think about the steps that you take. So maybe somebody's snapping their fingers, and then someone's stomping their feet, and then someone's patting their belly. And I look like a fool right now, but I had to do that rhythm in the steps. So I had to do one step at a time, then I kept adding to it. That's the way an algorithm is because it's the steps that you take to solve a math problem. So remember, algorithm. The sum is the answer to an addition problem. So if you think about it, a common addition problem would be, what is one apple plus another apple? Well, you have some apples. I have some apples. Sum is the answer to an addition problem. Next up, I have difference. If you're subtracting things, you might say, well, what's the difference anyway? Well, the difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. We have a quotient, and a quotient, of course, is the answer to a division problem. And you might think, well, a division problem, it's kind of like a division question, and question starts with Q, and so does quotient. Hopefully you'll remember that the quotient is the answer to a division problem. And we can't have a division problem without my good friends divisor and dividend. So first up, let's look at divisor. I always think of divisor as having the word visor right in it. And a visor is like a funny hat that you wear where it's got the little brim on the side. And if you think about a division problem, like right here, it almost looks like a visor that you could put on side your head. So the divisor is the thing that's wearing the visor. In this example, 4 would be our divisor. You can see it's kind of wearing the visor hat. If that's the divisor, then the other one is the dividend. Wow, that was a tremendously smooth transition there. So the dividend is a longer word, divisor is a shorter word. Usually the dividend is the longer of the two numbers. So the dividend goes inside of the bracket, or in the case of having it written out as shown here, the dividend is usually going to be the longer of the two numbers, but always the one that's written first. So the dividend divided by the divisor equals the quotient, of course. And then sometimes in a division problem, you will have a number left over. That's the number that remains, so we call that the remainder. A factor is used to multiply with another factor, or sometimes multiple factors, to come up with the answer of a multiplication problem, which is a product. So I like to think about factors and products, and factor kind of sounds like factory, and inside a factory, they work to make products that they sell in the store. So a factor times a factor equals a product. We also have some general terms, including as simple as a whole number. Now a whole number, as it sounds, is going to be a number that is whole. Okay, that would be like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Those are whole numbers. Think about our number line in our classroom. That number line contains whole numbers. We also have different types of numbers though, and some people don't even realize it, but another number is called a mixed number. Now a mixed number is a whole number along with a fractional part. So this is a wonderful example right here, 2 1/3 or 1 3/4. Okay, that's a whole number along with a fraction. A fraction, you say? That's right, a fraction. A fraction is another term that we need to know, and fraction is simply part of a whole number. So if I have a pizza, because I love pizza, and I eat half of that pizza, I ate a fraction of the whole pizza. I ate 1/2 of that pizza. And fractions are always made up of two specific things. First, we have a numerator. That would be the number on top. So in the number 1/2, we have 1 as our numerator. In this example, 3/4 is our fraction. The numerator would be 3. If the numerator is on the top, then our denominator is on the bottom. So the denominator is the bottom number. I like to look at it like this, numerator on top, denominator on the bottom. I always think to myself, north is up on a map. So north starts with N, and so does numerator. Denominator starts with D, and so does the word down. So the denominator is down, the numerator is north, or on top and on bottom. Hopefully that helps you as well. And then we can't forget about simplification. So simplify is another vocab word that kind of pertains with fractions because we can simplify fractions. All right, so if we have a fraction where they have large numbers such as 2/4, we can simplify that down by dividing both of them by the same number, in this case 2, to get 1/2. So simplify. Remember, that's a way we can simplify and make fractions into their simplest form, make them easier. And we have just a couple more words. We also have another type of fraction that's called an improper fraction. So I mentioned the numerator and the denominator. Numerators are usually smaller than denominators. When they're not, when the numerator is larger than the denominator, that's called an improper fraction. So the improper fraction is actually a mixed number in disguise. And I'll show you what I mean here. So in this example, we have 8/6. Well, 6 goes into 8 one whole time. So I can take 1 out as a whole number, and then that would leave me with 2/6. So 1 and 2/6, or I could simplify 2/6. See what I'm doing here? They all go together. I could simplify 2/6 down to 1/3. So 8/6, or 8/6, is actually a mixed number in disguise. It's actually 1 and 1/3. Pretty cool stuff. And our last term that I'm going to talk about today is the reciprocal. So you guys are going to flip when I tell you about the reciprocal, because the reciprocal is quite literally flipping a fraction around. So in the case of here, 4/3, it's the same, or it's a reciprocal would be 3/4. Okay, so we could take a regular fraction and use the reciprocal. It's always going to become an improper fraction. Here's a quick look at our Unit 1 vocabulary words. I hope this video has been helpful for you. And if you want to watch it again, you're more than welcome to do so. Have a great day. This is Mr. Regner. This is the Aftermath.
Math! Aftermath, it's the aftermath. Aftermath, it's the aftermath. Math class is fun, but when it's done, stay in the zone. On your own, it's math review, made just for you. Take a video wherever you go. Aftermath, it's the aftermath. Aftermath, it's the aftermath. Oh yeah.